Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Striation 6 podcast. I am your host, Sam Trotta, and as it is with everything I do my best to do in the exercise profession, I want to bring you this podcast in the hopes that you'll use it to help yourself feel, function, look, and live better through exercise. And we're back today with my client, colleague, friend, Bob Wyatt, and we are going to follow up on Bob's tri journey. If you listened to, or excuse me, if you didn't listen to episode one, I would suggest that you do so. It sets up some context for what we're going to talk about today. And I think it's been about 4 weeks since the first part of Bob's tri journey. And I think doing 3 to 4 week updates is probably appropriate for this kind of thing. It one doesn't overdo it in terms of the podcast episodes, and two, it gives Bob's body a good amount of time to adapt and shift and really experience what he's experiencing working with me at Striation 6. So that's me talking a lot. Welcome back, Bob. How are you?
Hi, Sam, I feel really good. I haven't quit yet, so I guess we have some more episodes ahead of us.
That's a good start.
But first, let me add that there are two journeys going on here. There's Bob's journey, my journey, to do my first triathlon at the age of 69, which I will be when I run it. But there's also your journey, Sam. The journey of using your muscle system approach, your unique muscle system approach, as in a totally preventative context, because I know that's not its sole focus, or at least it wasn't originally. The idea being we're trying to prevent me from getting hurt or minimize any injury I come up with um, as as I'm training. And I don't mean like falling down injury. I mean like muscle pain, strain, joint damage, that sort of thing. So two journeys here, and I think we should recognize yours as well.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you giving that journey the nod. It certainly is. I'm always trying to up my skill set and create the most value for my clients and prospective clients that I can. And I think one of the things that came out in part one of this series is that you sort of alluded to this, but just to make it clear for people watching or listening, you're atypical from most of my clients in the sense that you're coming in with no pain and looking to use muscle system work as a way of preventing potential pain that may come on as a result of the stresses of your triathlon training. The bulk of the people that I see come in with some sort of pain problem to solve. Now, in the way I view it, and I hope you're okay with me going on about this a bit. The way I view it, there's not much difference between the two. What we're looking to do is make sure the body is ready for what's coming to it. One is already in a pain state, the other one's trying to prevent a pain state from going on. Either way, what we're looking to do is solve a particular problem and allow you to move towards your goals with full body confidence. So, with that being said, would you be okay to update us on your training progress?
Okay. Well, it's been hard to run given the weather we've had over the last couple of weeks, and I really don't like the treadmill. Well, what I love to do is run along the boardwalk in the beach area. But running is my strongest of the three disciplines I'll be engaging in this journey. So I'm not too worried about that. And on biking, remember I said I couldn't understand why my time seemed to be so slow. I've done a fair bit of mountain biking, but not any road biking really. Um, and I was honestly getting worried about that. But it turns out that the stationary bike I was on in the gym I was in, which is one near my house,
Hmm.
um, it was calibrated in miles, and I was thinking kilometers. So when I do the conversion, I'm doing okay. I'm not too bad. I'm about 10 or 15% below where I wanted to be. So given the time we have, I'm good on I feel good about the biking part.
It could have gone a lot worse. You could have been someone trying to, control a spacecraft on its way into Mars and messed up that that metric conversion thing. So it's pretty good that it ended up with low consequences for you in this case.
Yeah, yes. Metric conversion confusion is downed airplanes. The Gimli glider that example in Winnipeg. No, it was a safe landing, but an emergency landing.
Right, right.
Yeah. I will say metric conversion also ruined a few first dates for me.
Oh boy, how how did it do that?
Well, without going into too much, great deal of detail, if you're representing body measurements up front in the dating scenario, you're in metric, she's thinking UK or US units, then, when you finally meet, there can be disappointment.
You're clearly talking about bicep girth. That has to be like a total like upper arm measurement sort of thing. I could
Sam,
see how that would.
absolutely, absolutely I am. Yes, exactly what I'm talking about.
I feel like that was a joke that maybe pushed off talking about your swimming a little bit. Why don't we talk about your
It is.
swimming?
There's no metric conversion problem in my swimming. It's my technique. And so I'm into this book you got me onto,
Yeah, it's a cool
Total
book.
Immersion. Um, and yes, it turns out I'm swimming all wrong, at least according to the total immersion philosophy, which aims to improve swimming efficiency most of all. But that means you can go faster and longer, and um, it's it's strange to learn that you've been doing something wrong all your life. Probably has never happened to you, Sam, but it has happened to me a few times.
Oh,
Swimming is one of them. So
I
I
pride
thought,
myself. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry about that. I was going to compound on that me being right on the all
no,
the
no,
time
yeah, I do.
joke, but
I should have given you more time.
no, it's all good. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
So for all of my life, I thought your body was supposed to be still and flat. Basically, you're on your stomach, right? And I thought kicking was almost as important as your arms and pulling your body forward. Well, it turns out, according to this theory, you need to be swimming on your sides, rotating side to side. And the kick is most important for initiating that rotation, not forward propulsion. Um, so that's amazing to learn. And I
Yeah.
now I'm at the stage where I have to practice it. And it's funny how it goes. You read the book or you look at a video and you go, oh, yeah, I see exactly how it works. By the time you're in the pool, well, you're forgetting some of the nuances and it's not an instant thing. But so I'm just at the beginning of totally changing my swimming technique. So I can't do more than 4 lengths or 5 lengths of the pool without switching off of front crawl or resting.
Right.
And the equivalent distance I need to be able to swim is 60 lengths. So there's a ways to go there.
For people listening or watching who aren't familiar with total immersion techniques, so it's something that I came across. So just for for full clarity, I'm no swimmer. Okay, I'm no expert swimmer. I'm not here teaching Bob anything about swimming. We're completely concerned with the muscle system and its mechanics as it might apply to anything that he chooses to do, but directing it more towards this triathlon training. And I first came across total immersion technique in Tim Ferriss's best-selling book, The 4 Hour Body. And if you know anything about Tim Ferriss, he loves people who zag when everyone else is zigging. And total immersion technique by saying, you're turning your body and reaching with the turn rather than the typical front crawl that you'd learn in swimming classes growing up. It's definitely a zag when the rest of the swimming world zigs. And I think, like anything, when you're bringing on a new skill, Bob, that's one of the things that we could be really mindful of in watching your body adapt and preventing it from getting to a place where it can't really meet the demands of the new skill. Combining some really intelligent exercise based work like what we're doing with a mindful non aggressive skill assimilation, meaning don't be too hard on yourself. Practice the technique and then start to push it a little bit once it's really nicely under your skin. I think it's something that, although might take a bit of time to adapt to, will pay off hugely in the end. So I'm glad you're undertaking it. The one thing that it doesn't take into account is in any of the training is you're not yet swimming in open water with other swimmers trying to kick you in the head.
Right. Right. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to replicate that. I think I'll have to wait till race day because head kicking is one of those is on the long, long list of things you can't do in a YMCA pool. So I'll just have to take that as it comes race
Sure.
day. Sam, you said something in our last episode that twigged to a little bit at the time, but thought a lot more since. And you probably don't remember this, but you for the first time that we've been working together, you called muscle system approach a modality. And a modality is what we call physiotherapy, chiropractics, those other alternative medicine isn't exactly the right term, but it's a uh, those are known and accepted and well practiced healthcare techniques.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm thinking muscle system really is a modality, but when you said it in our last get together, it was the first time I'd really thought about it that way. And I thought about a friend of mine um, who, in her 40s, had done a few triathlons and decided she wanted to move towards Ironman competitions, which, as you
Right.
know, are multiple times harder than an Olympic triathlon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she had said to me at the time, if anyone who does what I'm trying to do has a long-term relationship with a physiotherapist, and you use various trainers, sometimes a chiropractor. So it's it sounded sort of funny to me at the time, and funny to me when you mentioned the modality thing, because I got to thinking, well, if the muscle system approach combines training with minimizing injury or recovering from injury, then you would have or I would have less need for traditional modalities like physiotherapy. So it could be a very efficient training strategy and efficient even in cost.
Yeah, I mean, it's potentially true. The thing to emphasize that I said this in the first episode as well, but just to reiterate it and be clear, with muscle system work, we're certainly not trying to replace other modalities or claim superiority to them or anything along those lines. Uh, but when it comes to the need to be relieved from pain, what we're ultimately trying to do is reduce the need for them when there might be a more consistently and better available solution within your own muscle system. Um, if someone comes to me or to any of my muscle system specialists here at Striation 6 and they're not a good fit for us in the sense that they need help from a medical or a paramedical practitioner where what they need is outside of our scope, we'll always refer out. And I'm very fortunate to have a number of physiotherapists, chiropractors, doctors, massage therapists, people that with a couple of clicks of my iPhone, I can link clients with the appropriate practitioners. What we're looking to do is optimize function of the muscle system towards an individual's goals. So, in some sense, it kind of depends in terms of time efficiency and economic efficiency where you want to put your resources. Do you want to focus on preventing problems, or are you okay with, and this is, I'm not trying to make this a rhetorical thing here, are you okay with the body breaking down and then the intervention being on the sort of pain or dysfunction consequences of the breakdown rather than having the breakdown or the pain in the first place. And openly with someone training as hard as you'd need to for an Ironman, especially if you're looking to be competitive in an Ironman. I mean, I don't know how you, I don't, I don't know how you can be non-competitive and compete in an Ironman, but especially if you're looking to place like, near the top of your heap sort of thing. It's probably a combination of both. And I think, like in many aspects of healthcare, the preventive approach isn't given as much attention because it's easy to ignore things before they happen. It's just far too easy to ignore things before they happen. And we can be focused on more athletic goals and outcomes than other modalities in the sense that they're looking to help you return to normal. Some practitioners specialize in working with athletes, so it goes in. It helps them return to like we have a physiotherapist who we work with that is geared towards runners. He's a runner himself, and his niche is with runners. So returning to normal for a runner is getting back to running. What we're looking to help people do here is return to full body confidence and optimize function for whatever they want to do with their bodies and their lives. That's a mouthful, but I hope it clarifies things.
Yeah, it does. Uh, Good answer. And oh, I forgot to mention, by the way, that the friend I referred to at the beginning of this last chat or last conversation, she actually ended up dating her riding coach, and I'm hoping you and I could skip that stage. It,
I'm off the market, Bob. I don't know
okay,
about you. I'm off the market, so I'm okay with that. I'm
good.
okay with
So am I. So we're
that.
mutually off the market.
All
Fantastic.
right. Mutually disinterested. That's great. That's great.
Uh, okay. There were two things that I've been surprised about a bit in our last few sessions. I don't mean the podcast, I mean our actual weekly training sessions. And
Hmm.
one was I'm continually surprised that some very when you're addressing some movement inefficiency or imbalance, it seems like the simplest, smallest isometric activation improves the issue like I'll say almost immediately within the same session. It seems like you're not doing much for a great result. Now, admittedly, I'm as you keep saying, I'm not hurt, but I'm not perfect either. But it's true, I'm not hurt. Um, and the second thing I thought of is, and I never said this when I was going to school, but I feel like I need a little more homework. Um, I don't get much from you yet. What's with that?
Well, there's those are great observations. I appreciate it, and there's a lot to that I could respond. There's a lot of material that I could respond with. I'll try to keep it concise because I know we're trying to keep these episodes short. So when it comes to the first point you made about how a simple bit of exercise, you mentioned isometric. There are other modes that we use in muscle system work as well. The isometric is usually the most familiar to people, particularly people that have been through any kind of physiotherapy or other restorative exercise work before. And part of the simplicity in it goes is rooted in the thinking. So before we do, you probably also notice before we do any actual exercise, there's a decent, sometimes even lengthy level of assessment with the body in session with each session that tries to decide where we're actually going to go. And the whole idea is that if we can leverage existing data both from previous sessions, from your health history, and from the bit of assessment that we do at the beginning of each session, we can hopefully zero in on where the body needs the most work. And furthermore, if we've leveraged the data properly, excuse me, and we're not missing anything big, that little bit of work can have a significant ripple effect. And that's where the efficiency of the modality really comes into play. Then when it comes to your homework, don't worry, there's more coming. There's more coming. We're in the first phase right now of your muscle system work, and probably, I'm guessing by the time we do a part three of your triathlon journey podcast, we'll have done our phase two assessment, which is where we actually get to see you moving live. And the assessment is a little less mechanical and actually puts you into some real life situations and looks at the differences in endurance and things like that side to side in areas that we've assessed as being relevant to what's going on in your body right now. So, in other words, in some sense, phase two is in action, dealing with and assessing, correcting integrated movements, functional movements when you're actually in the world trying to move around. So that will be a whole other thing where the homework might become a little more elaborate. I will say though, the homework is meant to be efficient. It's not meant to be voluminous, and particularly for someone like yourself, Bob, who's taking on this rather significant undertaking of training for a triathlon. The last thing I want to do is add excessive amounts of load to your exercise and training schedule. So it's really about getting your body in tune in the most efficient way possible so that the endurance side of what you're training for can manifest for you in the best way possible.
Okay. Well, then I'll sign off with put me in, coach.
All right. Sounds good. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Bob, thank you for being here again today. I'm glad that the work we're doing is provoking questions and that you seem to be getting some value out of it. That's always my goal. I think I'm seeing you a little later on this week, so look
Yes.
forward to that. And once again, everyone out there, thank you for listening. Bob, anything to say before we sign off?
Um, no, I was going to do my Danny Rojas impression. I've been working on it. Okay, I'll try it. I'll
All
try it
right, give it a
again.
try. Give it a try.
Yours was really good last episode. Okay. So I think it should go something like this. This is the Striation 6 version of the Danny Rojas
Okay, okay,
new kid bit.
I'm here for it.
Danny Rojas, hey coach, movement is live. I got to
Movement
keep
is
working
life.
on it, maybe.
You know what? That's literal. Movement is life. Movement is life. And I think that's probably a good
Oh,
place
I
to
heard you
stop.
say it. It's not my line, it's your line. Yeah, yeah.
I
And forget the
appreciate it.
movement is death thing. That was a total freak accident. He didn't mean
Right.
to kill the
Exactly.
guy.
He didn't mean to do that. Hopefully, we see him again in season four. Hopefully, there's a season four.
I don't know how they do that, but okay.
See you soon. Thank you.
Hopefully
Thank
there's
you.
an episode 3. We'll see
All
you.
right. See you soon.
Bye.